Hello everyone, Mighty Benaya here, and I am back with the 100 game, the Volta Solo run, and I am going to go over a few different things that have happened over the past day. I am not at war with anybody, so there's not been any massive sweeping changes. Day 1, day 2, even into day 3, as a solo player, is about a lot of diplomacy and waiting to make your first move. If you can have patience, then a lot of times you will be better off than if you don't have patience and you rush into things. A prime example is my northern neighbor, Weekeasy, but we'll address that here in a moment. So, as discussed, I moved the majority of my troops. I have 5 in each province that is bordering a potential enemy, a potential aggressor. And I moved everything else to my capital. My capital is almost at 80% morale, and other places are slightly behind. So these troops are going to gain morale faster. They are at 69%, whereas these are going to be at 68%. It's 1%, so it's not that big of a difference, but that 1%, if it is the difference between my troops winning a battle and my troops losing a battle, I would rather have it. So troops are in the capital waiting for their instructions, which will be likely forthcoming. You will also notice there are 4 troops headed south. Why are they going to this AI territory, this blue AI territory? Well, after I shared map with all of the AI, that took my popularity up to 90. It was 95%. It's now 94%. And I know why it's 94%, and I will talk about that briefly here in a moment. But it took my popularity way up, which means other AI are going to start giving me right of way. So, in order to protect my interests, in order to protect the AI that have right of way, and also possibly goading a player into attacking me to increase my popularity because I was not the aggressor, I am sending 1 troop to each of these provinces that I have right of way with. This protects my ability to use them as a thoroughfare to attack other players later on, but it also prevents them from being taken by other players, and it prevents the other players from gaining strength by killing AI. And if they do attack it, if they do kill it, then they're at war with me, which increases my popularity, which means more AI like me, and I can do this further. What is happening to my north? So Weekeasy reached out to me briefly after he got on, and he said, hey, I want to be friends. Not in those terms, but pretty much that's what he said. And I responded to him and I said, hey, I'm happy to be cordial, but we're neighbors, and so that may put us at odds. And so as long as that's not the case, then I'm happy to be friendly. But I would suggest you not attack this AI that is next to us. He was already moving towards it, and you can see he's still moving towards it. So originally, Dakar had 10 troops, and Big Nona had 10 troops. He attacked Dakar, and the AI sent 10 troops through my territory, or not 10, 8 troops through my territory to reinforce Dakar. And I said, don't attack them because you will be left with an open war, and I'm not giving you right of way because you opened a war I told you not to. And he ignored me, and he sent troops. And then later he came back and said, hey, you want to be allies? You want to work together? And I said, after you ignored me? And he said, well, I listened to what you said. I thought about what you said, and the benefits outweighed the risks. I didn't think you'd be mad at me. And I haven't responded to him yet. But what this does, British West Africa has now built a fort in Dakar, which means that these troops are going to end up winning because there's more of them, but they are going to have more losses than they're going to have gains. And he is continuing to send more troops to deal with this tiny pesky AI. What this is doing is this is opening him up for a later attack. I don't plan on attacking him right away, but likely what I will end up doing is sending a mass of troops. Once I have some armored cars available, I will send a mass of troops to kill his capital. That will make his morale plunge, and I can build a fort there. It makes him angry, makes him want to attack into forts. He's built a fort here, but he really hasn't built any other forts. And so as he throws forces against me, like he's done to the AI, that gives me the opportunity to beat him back, and prevent him from giving me lots of damage as I take over his territory. And this is how you want to play. You want to play real conservative. You want to play really a little vulture-esque when you're doing a solo run, because you can't depend on anybody to have your back. Now, I did reach out to the British Nigeria player. Enlightened one is level 18, so they have some experience. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're good, just means they've played a lot of games. They've been very inactive, so I'm not sure if we're going to have a productive relationship or not. They may go AI in a couple of days because they didn't like what they saw. Who knows? The other thing that is happening around the world, Benjagun joined the game. I'm going to show Benjagun because we have a shared map. Benjagun, please let me know if this is not acceptable, if you don't want me to show on what's going on in your part of the world. But I want to look at what is happening to Benjagun as learnings for all of us. So I'm not going to tell Benjagun, oh, you should do this, or oh, you should do that. But I want to use Benjagun as a case study so we can all see, what's happening, what's going well for Benjagun and what's not. So we're going to briefly look. Benjagun got attacked from the south, which is actually really good for him because they're attacking into his forts. Unfortunately, and then he actually captured this, and it was already building a barracks, which is really good. So Benjagun has made a lot of progress against his southern enemy. Well, then his northern enemy attacked him. So he is in a bit of a rough spot, but as long as he can make allies, maybe to his east here with British Pakistan, and maybe to his west with British Burma to make sure that they don't attack him, then he should be in a good spot. The good news is these two right here are AI, and this is an AI, so he has some protection, but again, it's limited. And Chinese Tibet has thrown a ton of forces against his capital. His capital does have a damaged fort, and he is building an armored car. So he's in a decent spot, but there's a lot to overcome for Benjagun in order to stay in this game. If he can stay in the game and take out Madras, because Madras doesn't have any more troops because they've all died to his forts, or maybe take out Chinese Tibet first because more people are likely to jump in on that one and then take out Madras later, then he's going to have a really good game on his hands. But the trick is he's going to have to survive first. So he has been both lucky and unlucky in that he's not had to declare wars, and he's had people run into his forts. But the problem is he may not survive to reap the benefits of his luck, is the way that I'll put it. The other person that I have share map with, after I went through and gave shared intelligence to all of the AIs to increase my popularity, I went through and looked through the newspaper to see who was talkative. Sometimes talkative people, they don't last for long. They do a bunch of talking and then they disappear. But sometimes you can find somebody who is going to consistently be working throughout the game, and you want to look on different continents to see if you can find long-term allies. So somebody was chatting in the newspaper, said, "Hey, I'm looking for allies," and I reached out to him. I reached out to a couple of individuals sporadically, but one in particular was in the newspaper. I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, I'd be happy to trade with you later on," and he offered share map. So I also have share map with the Frozen North. I do not know this person. I am going to cast their basic movements. I'm not going to give any real big spoilers. I think I'll keep it at about this level, in case anybody that he's attacking is watching, so we don't know troop numbers specifically. But he went and he attacked British Columbia. Now, British Columbia had moved a lot of troops south. It looked like he was going to attack Crow State. And then that allowed Canada, Canada, to just come in unopposed, basically. This is both good and bad for Canada because he walked in without any issues, but British Columbia has all of their troops. It's not like British Columbia declared a war and got their troops killed. And those new territories don't have any defense. So if you do this, I will very rarely tell you to use Goldmark because I am not a fan of telling people, oh, well, if you pay this much money, you can do all of these fun things. But at the same time, you can get Goldmark for free by watching ads. That's what I do. And building a fort, rushing a fort, can be huge for your solo games and even for your team games. But we're focusing on solo play here in order to help us all become better players, right? So if you can attack and then fortify and goad them into trying to take that territory back, that's good. But if you just leave troops there, or if you don't keep moving, don't prevent them from regenerating troops, then taking it real quickly makes you an enemy very fast. And if you don't have methods to deal with that enemy, if you spread yourself too thin, then that can become problematic in the later game. That is all that happened yesterday. Again, I reached out to a few individuals. Oh, I'm not sure if I shared this already or not. I started recording this and then had an issue pop up, and so I had to start over. But these 4 troops, you may have noticed, are going down. I got right of way with these 2 countries. And so in order to solidify my alliance with them, I'm going to place 1 troop in each of their territories. And what this is going to do is it's going to prevent other players from attacking those territories without declaring war on me. If they declare war on me, my pop goes up. If they don't declare war on me, if they don't take those territories, then I have an avenue to move through in Africa later in the game. So that's why I'm doing that. Now I don't have anything else big to go through, but I'm briefly going to go through newspaper and see what has happened over the day, because I've been rambling on for about 10-15 minutes and I haven't looked at what's happened today yet. So there was a rebellion in the United Federated Malay States. Okay, so rebellion in Indonesia, rebellion in West Africa. Morocco has been pretty much obliterated, and they attacked French West Africa, and then French West Africa killed their capital, and then another country came in and started attacking them. So Morocco is pretty much done. Tunis is rebelled. Algeria, okay. More war stuff in the in Indonesia. Oops. I am the most popular, which is not surprising to me. Benjigun, second most popular. Not surprising to me. Congratulations, Benjigun. We should be reaping benefits soon. And then largest economy doesn't really matter too much at this state because that will fluctuate greatly very quickly. Fortress, Korean Empire versus German Shandong. Pretty easy war. None of this really applies to me. Springbok, I think that's South Africa. This is Europe. This is, okay, so this matters. Fortress built in German Cameroon, I believe, is the flag for that. So that is just south of me. They're building fortresses, which is a very defensive posture. Fortress built in Winnipeg. British Madras, British Bengal. Okay, so Madras is the guy that attacked Benjigun. So you can see he's taken 2-1 losses. That's why you want to build fortresses in the early game. You want to have a defensive posture in the early game. Later, you can be aggressive. Early game, you want to be defensive. Berlin, lots of fortresses built. Greece and Cyprus, and then just newspaper articles. So that is where we're at right now. I have spent most of my money. I have 0 spies currently because I've spent most of my money buying wood, which I still have 9,300, and I am still spending all of my wood to make more iron, to build more forts and more armored cars. I do have some food adjustments that I could do, but I'm still at -11 overall, so I'm going to leave it there. And then energy, I am at +40, so I'm going to leave it there. That is all that I have for updates for today. This has been a longer video, especially without very many updates. I will likely, by next video, be going to war with French West Africa. We will see what happens there. If you like this video, give me a like. If you have any suggestions on things that I can do better, let me know in the comments. And if you want to continue seeing content like this, if you want to keep seeing this series, go ahead and give me a subscribe so that you can be notified whenever I come out with a new video in this series. Soli Deo Gloria, and I'll see you next time.